having that tenant actually increased the rents throughout the building. There was sort of a pre-post sort of global relay effect in the building. So having that type of tenancy in the building wound up attracting other types of tenants to the building and were willing to pay up to be in that great building.
This week, we're talking about how you can create an office experience that makes your tenants want to come back to the office and stay there. Welcome back to another episode of In the Loop. Today, we're joined by David Neal of the Durst Organization. David is a principal at Durst, overseeing commercial leasing, marketing, communications, film production space, and even the employee innovation program. Welcome, David.
Thank you for having me.
David, you have led an incredibly established career, so I won't steal your thunder. If you could introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about what brought you to the world of commercial real estate.
Well, once again, thanks for having me. I appreciate the compliment on the career. I still got a lot more energy and juice to go, so I hope there's a long road ahead of me. But commercial real estate has always been an area of interest of mine. The family has been in the business for over 100 years. My wife's grandfather, her great-grandfather, initially started the business, and her grandfather ran it. Now, third generation's running the company with Uncle Douglas and cousin Jody. So family aside, I've always been interested in real estate. I've also been very interested in sustainability issues and environmental stewardship. So being at the Durst Organization, where the two are so interconnected, has been a real treat.
Wow, that's wonderful. What a cool start to it, too. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do with Durst and your role there?
Sure. Over the 17 years I've been with the company, I've had various roles, from property management into the legal department to amenities. Went to one of our affiliate companies, ran the affiliate company for a bunch of years. We had a maritime business, which I was heavily involved in and wound up selling actually about 10 years or so ago. And then more recently, I've been focused on commercial leasing, marketing, and communications, and a few other initiatives as well.
Very cool. I know one of the ones I saw was the employee innovation program. That was something that you had kind of presented and led and initiated there. Can you tell us a bit about what that looks like and what that accomplishes?
Yeah, happy to do so. So yeah, the innovation program is now in its 15th year.
Wow.
A program that I started since innovation is one of our core values, and so really important to really nurture and support sort of this culture of innovation. And so the idea behind the program was to get our employees, our corporate and our union employees, to share their ideas, their suggestions to improve operations, to create better customer experiences. And it's been a phenomenal program. This past year, we had 64 innovation submissions and a number of winners at the end of the year. So it's a program I'm very proud of and look forward to seeing where the program goes in the future.
Wow, yeah, that's fantastic. I saw one of the cool things that Durst does is put beehives at the top of high rises, and then you have Durst branded honey. Was that a product of the Employee Innovation Program?
Yes, actually, that
That's
was
cool.
what was an initiative that was recognized. So a number of years ago, we started to convert setbacks, rooftops, into green roofs. After we did the green roofs, it sort of evolved into terraces and a few other things. It then opened up this opportunity to put these beehives, on some of our setbacks. There's a few things that were really neat about that innovation. One was the green roofs that we have in our portfolio. We actually compost throughout our portfolio. I'm probably one of the only, if not the only, commercial landlord that offers composting throughout our portfolio. And so we collect the organic waste and we send a portion of the waste actually goes to an affiliate of ours, an organic farm upstate, and then comes back as compost onto our green roof, sort of this nice sort of full loop system. Anyway, so we had these green roofs, and then someone came up with this idea to put these beehives, and that's been a real hit. We make our own honey, which we then include in our amenity spaces, including here at
Fun.
825 on the 12th floor. We give jars of honey out to our tenants as thank yous for being in our portfolio. So yeah, that's been a fun project.
That is really cool. We were talking about some of those outdoor spaces, the setbacks, and how you've transformed them. I know you've got a really cool one over at 1155 Avenues of America. Can you tell us how you all decide which spaces and how to have the most impact within those setbacks and unused rooftops?
I love talking about outdoor space for a bunch of reasons. So one is I'm a big believer in value creation. Value creation, I think, is a really important part of what we do. It's one of the reasons I'm so excited to be in commercial real estate, and why I'm so excited to come to the office every day. It's about how do we create value for our customers and for this great city of New York. And so the terraces was an idea that we had about, I'd say, about 12, 13 years ago. So we were very early. At the time, very few tenants were interested in outdoor space. When I started to ask questions to consultants, to folks internally, even there was a lot of hesitation. Insurance, legal risk. Terraces aren't what they are today. Today, terraces, it's sort of become sort of almost a norm, right? It's almost an expectation for a lot of tenants who want to be in a Class A property. But at the time, that was not the case, and so it was one of these instances where we were actually creating the demand. We were actually anticipating where the market could go, and so at the time, it was actually a negative to be near a setback or near a rooftop. You'd be looking at a blacktop. You'd be looking at outdoor space that actually decreased the value of the real estate, the adjacent office space. And so we turned, and then a lot of others have also done this, turned what was a negative into a positive. Now, having access to outdoor space or even being in close proximity to a green roof increases the value and the experience, certainly, of having office space that's adjacent to or having access to the outdoors. Since 2000, I'd say 2012, 2013, we have converted about 30 or so setbacks, 30 or so rooftops into terraces. At 1155 Avenue of the Americas, which you mentioned, we spent about $20 million on a speculative basis to create this phenomenal indoor-outdoor experience, which then led to us securing an outstanding tenant, Global Relay. That tenant fell in love with the space, and what was really interesting, after we went through that exercise, we actually found that there was, having that tenant actually increased the rents throughout the building. There was sort of a pre-post sort of Global Relay effect in the building. So having that type of tenancy in the building wound up attracting other types of tenants to the building, and were willing to pay up to be in that great building. But that was a significant investment. We made other buildings similarly at 151, also 151 on the west side, Midtown. We spent about $8 million on a speculative basis to put in windscreens and structural reinforcement for setbacks, and that turned out to be very timely. Led to a number of transactions over the last few years. Actually, over half of that building at 151 is a 1.8 million square foot asset. Over half of that building is associated with outdoor space.
That's incredible, and it's interesting to see Durst really help set the standard for what is important to the tenant experience today, which is pretty incredible. When you're kind of weighing out what amenities and design elements are going to have the biggest impact on the tenant experience, on tenant engagement, what are some things that you look at?
So I think exactly what you said is the most important, the tenant experience. So what has changed over the years is, expectations. So I liken it to going to a very nice restaurant.
Mhm.
I assume you enjoy going to a nice restaurant
I
from time to time.
do. Yeah, you got me
Who
there.
doesn't? Right? Who doesn't? We all do. So
Exactly.
when you go to a really nice restaurant, yeah, the food has to be great, but that's not the only piece, right?
Mhm.
The music has to, if there's background music, it's got to be the right type of music. The design of the space, the atmosphere, the service, the hospitality touch, all the elements that go into your evening out at a very nice restaurant all matter. The details really matter. So you can go to a restaurant and the food could be some of the best food you ever have, but if the service is not right, it takes forever to get your check and you're stuck and you want to get out of there. Or you go to the restrooms and they're really dirty and gross. You're not going to want to go back. So it's looking at the experience holistically. All
Mhm.
the details added up together is what creates that differentiator. That's what creates either great experience or subpar experience. So it's no longer the case where a tenant will say, "I just want to go to a beautiful building, a building that is designed in a nice way, or a space that is designed with great aesthetic." That's part of it, of course, but that's just one component. What's incredibly uh, I think I would say what's most important now is focusing on the overall experience of the tenant, and that's from beginning to end. I think back to sort of the 1990s. Think back to that movie was it Office Space,
Mhm.
where the experience of the customer was more of an afterthought, and then there was this sort of shift over time into the 2000s, more of this densification, a so-called densification, which was this idea to sort of pack as many people into space as possible, right? So it's sort of this, in my view, sort of penny wise, pound foolish. It was this real estate as an expense. How can we pack people in to save a couple of dollars in our real estate expense? And then actually coming out of COVID, something very interesting happened. And that was this question of why. Do we even need office space? Why have office space? And some people went down this road and were very negative and saying, well, why even go into the office? And then something really interesting happened when you get to the essence of why have an office space. There was a realization that in-person collaboration, having an office, actually really matters.
Mhm.
Lots of studies have come out to show this, whether it's for productivity, whether it's for innovation, whether it's for team cohesion, whether it's for younger folks coming into the workforce who need mentorship, right? There's a whole host of studies that show the importance of being in person. But what this did is it focused, I think, all of us in the industry and certainly our customers, our tenants, the people who want to be in person, the people, the companies who now believe in the importance of having an office, or who are reminded now how important having in-person collaboration is. Most of those folks want to be in a building where they're having a phenomenal experience. Right. This is the
Yeah.
so-called flight to quality. Again, jargon that we hear throughout the industry.
Yeah.
But all that means is being in a better environment. It means being in an environment where the customer experience is front and center.
Yep. It's very interesting you say that because we see like you said the evolving tenant expectations happening here, and so we're shifting how we create and use office space in our place of work. And so how does Durst then prioritize what amenities or upgrades are needed to have the largest impact on the tenant experience?
So amenities are again a very important part of the equation, but it's just a part.
Mhm.
And so let's come back to amenities in a moment. So when I think of the customer experience, I think of everything from the type of retail that we have in our buildings. We're not just chasing a top a top dollar from a retailer. We're looking for a retailer who's going to enhance the neighborhood, who's going to enhance the experience of our office users. So, by way of example, here at 825 Third Avenue, a property we spent $150 million to reposition. Uh, the building was at a triple net lease for several decades. We got the building back. We decided to spend $150 million to renovate the building. So this was a great case study of what to do with a blank slate. So as part of the process, we prioritized making sure we have great retail here at the base of the building to help attract the right type of office users. So we have this phenomenal restaurant at the base. We have a physical therapist at the base. And some other nearby restaurants that are very complementary to sort of the experience. Of course, the design of the building, that really matters. How we operate the building, operational excellence, really important. So wait times for an elevator, right? We want to make sure you come into a building again. If you're coming into a building that looks great, but you have to wait forever to get an elevator, that's not a great experience. So we make sure we're putting a lot of attention on the back of house to make sure that you have a seamless and a seamless experience when you're in the building. This building, we also were very innovative here at 825. We invested in view glass technology. I think we're one of the first buildings to do that. Certainly here in New York City.
Yeah.
And that's what's neat about this particular innovation is there are no blinds in this building. So the technology has tints based on there's artificial intelligence baked in the technology, and the windows tint based on how much sun is coming in. There is an override if you would like to tint it either darker or lighter. But what that does is enables some of our customers some of our tenants who pay a premium for a phenomenal view. They want to be able to enjoy the view, and so in this building, we went above and beyond to create a situation where a tenant can come into the building and enjoy the view 365 days, not have a situation where you're paying for the view, but you can't enjoy the view because you have to have the blinds down in order to be on, say, a Zoom or a WebEx or whatever we're on right now. But
Yeah.
all of those details really matter. And then certainly amenity space. Is also a consideration here at 825, a very important part of the mix. The entire 12th floor we converted into an amenity space for the tenants of the building. Very well received. It's an indoor-outdoor. For us, this was the first time we included a terrace. It's about a 4,000 square foot terrace, wraparound terrace for our tenants to enjoy. And it's been very well received. So there's a cafe, there's conference rooms, meeting space, lounge area, and this outdoor opportunity.
We got to experience two of those Well and by Durst locations, One World Trade, like you mentioned, and then the cool space behind you over at 825 Third. Incredible views, beautiful designs and aesthetics. Can you tell us a little bit about what inspired this concept of Well and by Durst?
So a number of us, about 15 or so years ago, had the opportunity to tour the campuses of some very large companies who, at the time, were really at the forefront of creating sort of amenity spaces within their campuses, within their buildings. That provided an inspiration because we came to the realization that not all companies have the ability or the desire to create these types of amenity spaces within their space. And so that was the inspiration for us to launch the Well and by Durst brand. So how we design the space, how we operate the space, sustainability sort of woven throughout. But one of my colleagues took this picture of this green wall. It's about 2,000 live plants on this green wall at 151. took a picture, sent it to a broker, and said, "Guess where I am?" And the broker said, "Google." Uh, and so we took that as a compliment.
Yes.
But that was the inspiration, and so we looked to that and said we should do something similar at several of our properties. That then One World Trade Center and 825. We sort of lessons learned across our portfolio, and here we are.
When we were at One World Trade Center, it was pretty easy to get there. The subway station was right underneath. And you guys also have Grand Central East that you're bringing on. And even where you're at now at 825 Third, being very close to transit. Can you talk about how that's become a bit more important to tenants today?
Incredibly important. Tenants are focusing on a great customer experience, and that actually starts before the employee even gets to the building.
Yeah.
So the journey from home to office, very very important. So proximity to transit options, increasingly important. One of the reasons we actually went through a rebranding exercise at two of our buildings that you just mentioned. On the east side, Midtown East, we just rebranded what was 655 Third Avenue is now 5 Grand Central East. What was 733 on Third Avenue is now 11 Grand Central East, which we hope in the coming years actually is known as a distinct neighborhood.
Yep.
Because I certainly am of the opinion, just like Bryant Park, so important. The Bryant Park submarket, that area around Bryant Park over the last handful of years has become sort of a distinct submarket. I think the same thing will happen with Grand Central East. The proximity to Grand Central, really important. More tenants are looking for that proximity. The investment that took place recently at Grand Central, connecting Long Island Railroad to Grand Central, has been incredibly important. One World Trade Center, yes, I think that's connected to every subway line or
Yeah.
almost every subway line in New York, and our buildings in Midtown on the west side as well, connected to great transit options, whether it's to Penn Station, proximity, Grand Central, and of course the various subway lines. So yeah, I think that's incredibly important as well, moving forward for sure.
Wow, I love it. You mentioned sustainability is super important to Durst. Durst's entire commercial portfolio is LEED Gold certified or higher. Can you share how sustainability has impacted tenant retention or attracted new tenants?
We've had a number of companies who've become tenants because of our sustainability focus. It's certainly so in that regard. From a leasing perspective, it's always nice to see some leads and leases as a result of our sustainability focus. But I would say so. Yes, that's certainly important and worth acknowledging. But more to the point, sustainability is in our DNA. It's our identity. It's who we are. I think storytelling is really important. Um, Important to communicate who we are, what our company is about. And for us, this is sort of a very authentic way for us to express something that a number of us in the family, I think all of us in the family and executives and employees throughout the company, something that we care about on a personal level.
It's an admirable to see the values of Durst and those who run it and are part of it come to life within the commercial real estate spaces that you all have in New York. How do you weigh the costs of those sustainability upgrades to the financial returns for Durst?
Case by case.
Yeah.
That's a case by case analysis. But oftentimes cost isn't the main driver.
Hmm.
Oftentimes it's inertia. It's how business is being done. It's dealing with change management, changing behavior, influencing our tenants or influencing the industry to change. Just by way of example, I mentioned composting in our commercial portfolio.
Yes.
That was a cost we just absorbed. It was not a substantial cost, but there was a nominal cost that we absorbed, to do this. And initially, when we launched the program, guess how many office tenants decided to participate?
I would love to say hundreds, but I'm sure people were a little hesitant at first with something so new and unique.
Zero.
Oh,
So
no.
we had zero, but we didn't give up.
I love it.
And so
Good.
we looked in the mirror and say, what could we do different? How can we
Mhm.
communicate this program? How can we do better? How can we
Right.
communicate the benefits of this program in a different way? And so we went on a roadshow, myself included, lots of meetings, and that led to over into the hundreds of tenants
That's
participating in
wonderful.
that program. So I share that as one of many examples where um, it's yes, case by case, looking at the dollars. Sometimes the payback just isn't there, and it doesn't make sense, or the technology just hasn't evolved, and it's not the right moment to deploy that particular technology. But oftentimes, it's just rolling up the sleeves and figuring things out, and making it happen. So. The compost is an example of that. One of our colleagues, who also was an innovation award recipient, last year came up with this really clever idea to recycle glass that is on the office fronts of actually most office fronts that
Yeah.
have the glass. Very difficult to recycle and hadn't been recycled in the industry. And she figured out a way, working with some partners, to do so, and that has had a big impact on us when spaces being demolished now. When these glass fronts are coming down, that material is now being recycled, and thanks to that effort, really having a big impact, not just for us, but elsewhere in the industry, where a lot of our colleagues, a lot of our other folks in the industry are now participating in that effort. So again, another example where yes, there are trade-offs, and sometimes there is an additional cost. Oftentimes with a reasonable payback, sometimes not, and so we have to weigh those decisions. But so many times, it's just again rolling up the sleeves and putting in the work.
Awesome. I think holistic is a key theme here, and especially with Durst, taking a holistic approach to the tenant experience, like we were talking about earlier, but also to sustainability and going beyond just energy efficiency to recycling the glass to composting, to turning unused spaces into green spaces. I think that's incredibly admirable, and a great value to see with Durst. Is there any other really unique ways, or even maybe some advice you'd give to other landlords who are trying to have some more sustainability within their buildings and put that at the forefront of their building?
Yeah, in terms of advice, I would recommend, yes, having internal experts. Having We have a sustainability department. That's incredibly important, but that's not enough. And so there's actually a risk in forming a sustainability department, in my view, if the sustainability department is viewed as sort of the only employees, or the only ones who are focused on sustainability. We look at it very differently. So we do have a sustainability department, but sustainability expectations around sustainability and being an ambassador, being an advocate for sustainability, is woven into the job descriptions of all of our employees. When we talk about goals, sustainability is not just a goal for the sustainability department, but is a goal that is woven into all of our employees. So my advice would be, don't compartmentalize sustainability amongst two or three, four or five people. It really has to be, again, using that word holistic, it really has to be a holistic approach. And if you do that, I think you're putting yourself in a much better position to succeed.
I love it. Want to start to close this out with one of our favorite questions to end us on, which is, what is your favorite city and why?
Of course, I have to say New York City. I'm here in New York.
I know if you had said something different, I'd be worried.
So look, New York City.
Yep. What about New York? What is one of the reasons or some of the reasons that makes it your favorite city?
Yeah. So a whole bunch of reasons, but what I really love about New York is the people, the energy, the ability to be whoever you want to be. I do love the striving. I do love the sort of the commitment to being the best, whatever it is, whether you're a musician, whether you're financial services, whatever it is that you do, whether you're real estate, whatever. There's this sort of energy here of an expectation that you have to continuously improve and try to be the best at whatever it is that you do. I really love that about New York. What I also love about New York is the density also allows for these phenomenal outdoor opportunities that are just in our backyard. You go, 15, 20, 25 miles and you're in mountains or you're at a beach or you have these, of course, beautiful parks and outdoor spaces within the city itself. But also if you're someone who loves the outdoors like myself, you can be kayaking, you can be hiking, you can be doing all these phenomenal things just outside of the city.
I love it. If you had to pick one thing to improve about New York, what might it be?
Look, everyone, every individual, every city, we can always do better, right? So I'd have to give some more thought to the one thing. I certainly think we can go from good to great and great to even better. So that's certainly true here. I'd have to give more thought to what the one thing is. But I think New York City is doing a pretty good job right now.
I agree. I love it. Well, thank you, David, for being part of our podcast today and sharing your expertise. And thank you, listeners, for joining us on another episode of In the Loop. We have a lot more in store for you, so stick around. And thanks again, David, for joining us and sharing your time and insight. We still have much more to come with insights from season 1 of In the Loop. Don't forget to follow so you won't miss an episode.